I'm going to explain a very important chapter of class 10 CBSE board, that is Madam Ride the Bus. And this is very interesting story, and it will help you to get good marks in examination as well. So I want to help you, that's why I'm going to explain this chapter line by line, word by word, so it would be helpful to you people to learn far better. So without any delay, I'm going to start. There was a girl named Valya Mai who was called Valli for short. She was 8 years old and very curious about things. Now, Miss, the writer is talking. There was a one girl and her name was Valya Mai, but in short, she people used to call her Valli, and she was only 8 years old, and she was very curious girl. Means what, she loved to know other things about other things. Her favorite pastime was standing in the front doorway of her house, watching what was happening in the street outside. And what she loved most, she used to stand on the front door, and there she used to see all activities, whatever the things were happening there on the street. There were no playmates of her own age on her street, and this was about all she had to do. And there was one more reason, she used to stand on the doorway because she was not having any playmate, a company for playing. That's why she used to pass most of her time by standing at the door to see all the activities in the streets. But for Bully, standing at the front door was every bit as enjoyable as any of elaborate games. Now Narita is saying what Bully, when she used to stand at the front door, what happens? She used to enjoy everything, and she was enjoying a lot, like any games other children play, which are being played by other children. Watching street gave her many new unusual experience. Whenever she used to watch what the street, she was getting many unusual, means what, different, very strange experience which she did not observe earlier. So she loved to stand over there and to see different things. The most fascinating thing of all was the bus that traveled between her village and the nearest town. It passed through her street each hour, once going to the town and once coming back. But she loved most, means one of the most fascinating, most attractive things for her when she used to stand at her door. She was enjoying a bus which was going every hour from her street and coming back, and that was going to the town and that was coming back as well. The sight of the bus filled each time with a new sets of passengers was a source of unending joy for Wally. And when the bus, it was coming and going, it was having many passengers, different passengers, and that was making Wally very happy. She used to feel unending joy. Day after day she walked the bus, and gradually means slowly, a tiny wish crept into her head and grew there. Now day by day when she was watching that bus, slowly a wish, rather a small wish that was growing inside her, growing inside her. She wanted to ride on that bus even if just once. So what happened? Now she had wished to ride on that bus, not many times, but just one. This wish became stronger and stronger until it was an overwhelming desire. Overwhelming desire means what? Now she was obsessed. She was very curious, very excited to ride on that bus, and that wish was growing, becoming stronger and stronger day by day. Wally would stare wistfully at the people who got on and off the bus when it stopped at the street corner. Now she used to look all the peoples who used to get on and got off when it stopped at the street corner. Their faces would kindle in her longings, dreams, and hopes. Longing. wistfully, that's what means she used to remember those names in her dream as well, in hope. If one of her friends happened to ride the bus and tried to describe the sight of the town to her, Valli would be jealous to listen and without shout in English. Would shout in English, proud, proud. Now the narrator is saying if any friend of Valli, she would ride on that bus, and when she would come back and would describe about the journey, so Valli would feel very jealousy and she would say in English, proud, proud. Neither she nor her friends really understood the meaning of the word, but they used it often as a slang expression of disapproval. The meaning of proud, even she and her friend, they were not knowing about the meaning of that word, but she and her friend, they used to use that word frequently to show disapproval. Over many days and months, Valli listened carefully to conversation between her neighbors and people who regularly use the bus, and she also asked a few discreet questions here and there. Discreet means what, very carefully. Now, over many days and months, now this Valise, she used to listen conversations of those people who used to ride on that bus and her neighbors as well, and sometimes she used to ask some question very carefully. This way she picked up various small details about the bus journey. In this way she got many details about the very small details rather of the journey. The town, then she got to know what the town was 6 miles from her village, and the fare was 30 paise one way, which is almost nothing at all. Now narrator is saying what, that the town was 6 miles away from her village and the fare was of 30 paise. That was nothing. But for Wali, she heard one well-dressed man say out to the Wali, who scarcely saw that much money from one month to the next month. Now, which is almost nothing to her at all, she heard one well-dressed man say out to Wali. Now, she heard from one well-dressed man that what, who scarcely saw that much money from one month to the next month, and she got to know about that thing from one well-dressed person, and she got to know that what the fare is 30 paise. Now it seems of, and that such money from one month to the next month. It seemed a fortune, and now it was good amount for her to collect. So she had to wait for one month to another month, and it was depend on her luck as well. Fortune means luck. The trip to the town took 45 minutes. On reaching town, if she stayed in her seat and paid another 30 paise, she would return on home on the same bus. This meant that she could take the 1 o'clock afternoon bus, reach the town at 1:45, and be back home by about 2:45. Now she calculated, and then she calculated what? When she will ride on the bus, it will take about 45 minutes to reach. So she decided to start her journey at 1 o'clock, and she thought that when the bus will start to go at 1 o'clock, it will reach there at 1:45, and 15 minutes it will take rest, and when it will start coming back at 2 o'clock, so she would come back at 1:45 and be back home about 2:45. Now, on and on went her thoughts as she calculated and recalculated, and this thought was continuously going in her mind, and she was calculating and recalculating. Now, I'm going to explain the second part Well, one fine spring day, the afternoon bus was just on the point of leaving the village and turning into the main highway when a small voice was heard shouting. Means that was the spring season and it was afternoon, and when the bus took a turn on a main highway, there they got a small voice. Stop the bus! Stop the bus! And a tiny hand was raised commandingly, and they found that a small hand, tiny means for very small hand, that was raising commandingly with full of confidence. The bus slowed down to the crawl. Now bus slowed down to almost stop, and the conductor, sticking his head out of the door, said, "Hurry then. Tell whoever it is to come quickly." Now he said what? Now the driver, he took out his head and he said, "Whosoever is there, please come quickly. Hurry then." "It's me," shouted Wali. "I am the one who has to get on." Now Wali said, "It's me only," shouted Wali. And she said, "Well, it's me only who has to get on to this bus." By now the bus had to come to stop, and the conductor said, "Oh really, you don't say so?" Now conductor, what happened? Now bus was totally stopped and the conductor said, "It it is really you who said this thing?" Now Wali said, "Yes, I simply have to go to the town," said Wali, still standing outside the bus, "and here's my money." She showed him some coins. Now she said, "Well, it's me only, and I have to go to the town." And still she was standing outside the bus, and then she showed rather that money, the coins rather, some coins to the driver. Sorry, conductor. "Okay, okay, but first you must get on the bus," said the conductor, and he stretched out a hand to help her up. Now he said, "Okay, no problem," and he just stretched out his hand to just take her up. But what happened then after? "Never mind," she said, "I can get on by myself. You don't have to help me." She said, "What I am able to do, and I can ride on myself. I don't need any help." The conductor was a jolly sort, fond of joking. Sort means kind of. Now the conductor was a kind of a joking sort, jolly person who loved joking. "Oh," then he said, "Oh, please don't be angry with me, my fine madam." He said, "What? Don't angry with me, madam." He said, "Here, have a seat right up there in the front." And he said, "What? Take the seat right front. Everybody moved aside, please. Make a way for the madam." And conductor said, "Everybody please request to move aside so the wali could get some place." It was a slack time of the day. Slack time of the day means what? There was not too much crowd, and there were only 6 or 7 passengers on the bus. That time there were only 6 or 7 passengers on the bus. They were all looking at Wali and laughing with the conductor, and they all looking to the Wali at the Wali rather, and they all laughing. Then Wali was overcome shyness, avoiding everyone's eyes. She walked quickly to an empty seat and sat down. Now what happened, Wali? She was controlling her shyness, and she was avoiding everyone's eyes, and she walked quickly to reach her seat, and there she sat down. Now, maybe we start now, madam, the conductor asked, smiling. Then he blew his whistle twice and the bus moved forward with a roar. Now, the narrator is saying after that the conductor asked permission from Wali by saying madam, and he said what, can we move ahead now? And after that, and he gave one smile as well, and he gave two blue, twice blue rather, and then after bus started moving forward with roaring sound, a louder sound. It was a new bus. It outside painted a gleaming white with some green stripes along the side. Now that was a new bus. Now the narrator is telling about the bus. It was a new bus and outside it was having gleaming white. Gleaming means or shining white with some green stripes, and there are some green stripes as well along the side. Inside, overhead bar shone like silver. The overhead bar means where we keep our materials, stuffs rather. That was shining like a silver. Directly in front of the valley, above the windshield, there was a beautiful clock. And on the just opposite to her, on the windshield, there was one beautiful clock as well that was mounted. The seats were soft and luxurious. Vali devoured everything with her eyes. Means what? She was observing everything perfectly, eagerly rather. Then after, but when she started to look outside, she found her view cut off by the canvas blind. And when she tried to see outside, she found that there was one curtain of canvas. Blind means you can say curtain that covered the lower part of her window, and that that curtain was covering the lower part of her window. So she stood upon the seat and peered over the blind. Now that's why she decided to stand up and peer up, peering up, keeping the blind away. The bus was now going along the bank of canal. The road was very narrow. Now bus was passing by a bank of canal, and the road was very narrow, very thin. On one side there was the canal, and beyond it, and after means what, beyond that point, palm trees, grassland, distant mountains. There were many mountains as well, and the blue sky, and the sky was looking blue. On the other side, just opposite to this was a deep ditch, and then acres and acres of green field. There was a deep ditch as well, and acre green field. Green as far as the eye could see. Everywhere looking green only. Wherever her eyes could see. Oh, it was all so wonderful. Suddenly she was startled by a noise. Suddenly she was surprised. Started me surprised by a noise. Listen, child, said the voice. You shouldn't stand like that. Sit down. And somebody said, child, you should not stand like that. You might be hurt. So sit down. Sitting down, she looked to see who had spoken. Now she sat down her seat and she looked that side. Means what, she wanted to know that who spoke to her. It was an elderly man who had honestly been concerned for her, but she was annoyed by his attention. Annoyed means angry. Concern means worry. Now that man was really worried about that girl, Avali, but this made Vali very angry. There's nobody here who's a child, she said hotly. I have paid my 30 paise like everyone else. And she said, well, here nobody is a child. I have, and she said very proudly, and she said, I have paid also 30 paise like you people, like everyone. So the conductor chided it. The conductor interrupted in, oh sir, But this is a very grown up madam. Do you think a mere girl could pay her own fare and travel to the city all alone? Now the conductor said to that old man, Sir, she is not a small child, she is a grown up madam. And can you believe that a small girl could pay her fare and could could she travel to the city all alone? It is not possible. Wally shot an angry glance at the conductor and said, I am not a madam, please remember that. And you have not yet given me my ticket. Now, Wally what she became angry and she gave a look to the conductor and there she said, I am not a madam and please remember, till now you have not given my ticket as well. I'll remember, the conductor said, mimicking her tone. Everyone laughed, and gradually Wally got to join in the laughing. Gradually, slowly. Now, he said, what? Huh? I can remember. Now, he was copying her tone, the tone of Wally, and everybody now started laughing. And gradually, Wally also joined those people in laughing. The conductor punched a ticket and handed it to her. Just sit back and make yourself comfortable. Why should you stand when you have paid a seat? Paid for a seat. And conductor requested. He punched the ticket. First, he handed over that ticket to her, and then he said, "Go back and sit." And why would you stand when you have paid for a seat? Because I want to. Now Wally said, because I want to, she answered, standing up again. She said, because I want to stand once more. Why? Because she wanted to see outside beauty. But if you stand on the seat, you may fall and hurt yourself when the bus makes a sharp turn or hits a bump. Now, the conductor said you might be falling down when the bus will take sharp turn or it will hit a bump. Bump is a higher place on the road that you use as a breaker. That's why we want you to sit down, child. That's why we want to make you sit down. I'm not a child. I tell you, she said irritably. I am 8 years old. And now she became irritated, angry, annoyed, and she said, I'm not a child. I'm 8 years old. Of course, how stupid of me, 8 years, my. Now he said, conductor said, what? I'm very stupid, very fool. Oh, really, you are 8 years old. The bus stopped, some new passenger got on, and the conductor got busy for a time. Afraid of losing her seat, Wally finally sat down. Now bus stopped at one place and some more passengers they got on the bus and conductors he got busy himself with those passengers and the Wally she thought what she will lose her seat so she decided not to leave her seat and to sit down. An elderly woman came and sat beside her. Are you all alone, dear? And that lady said to her, are you alone here, dear? She asked Wally as the bus started again. When the bus started again, Wally found the woman absolutely repulsive. Means what? She was she was not looking good looking. Such big holes she had in her ears lobes, and she was having a big you can say big holes on her ear lobes. Lobes means what? The lower part of the ear where ladies use earrings and all to wear, and such ugly earring in them, and that was filled by the ugly earrings, and she could smell the betel nut the woman was chewing. And now she realized that that woman was chewing betel nut means what is पान चबाना जिसे कहते हैं and see the betel juice that was threatening to spill over her lip. And she realized, Miss Wali realized that the juice of beetle that was about to spill over on her lip at any moment.